All right, what's going on, everybody? We're streaming live here real quick on a Friday night. Hopefully everybody's having a good Friday night. Hopefully, all a good Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you're having a nice holiday season. We're rolling up into probably the most important week of the fantasy football season. That's why we're going to do something a little live here, and we're going to do something pretty cool. So, we're going to talk about our top 10 scoring offenses with touchdowns only this year, and we're also going to talk about the guys who are getting the most 300 yards gain, 300 passing the game, which would be the quarterbacks, and also the guys who are doing the most games rushing 100 yards and receiving 100 yards or more. So there's some cool stats here for you, some stuff to kind of give you some information going into this week. I know it's a important week for everybody. There's lots of money on the line, lots of playoff spots on the line, playoff rankings, all that stuff. So let's get started here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we were going to talk about running backs who get 100 yards or more. Now, these running backs, this is based on per game. So coming in number 5, actually coming in number 5, I just said that, sorry, is Ronald Jones II for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This year he has had 4 100-yard games. This week is their bye week, week 13. So just to let you know, he is a nice running back to have, just obviously not this week. So he's had 4 of his 12 weeks that he has played in. He's had 100 yards. So I basically break it down 25% of the time. The next running back on the list is James Robinson for Jacksonville. This guy has had a huge impact for Jacksonville. He's been the ace in the hole, basically, undrafted rookie free agent. They signed him, Lego Leonard Fournette. This gentleman's had 4 yards as well. 4 games as well for rushing for 100 or more yards. So he's been a huge part of their offense. So number 3 on the list is no surprise, Mr. Dalvin Cook. He has had 5 games this year where he has he has had 100 or more yards rushing on the ground. So no surprise there. Dalvin Cook is the number 2 or number 1 running back in all of fantasy football, depending if you're playing a standard scoring league or PPR league, but he is just absolutely tearing it up for the Purple Machine. Also, too, he's got a tough playoff schedule, but Dalvin Cook's had a great year so far. Don't expect anything to change whatsoever. So this is really cool. This guy on the list is number 2. He's had 5 games where he's rushed for 100 games or more. 100 yards or more. And also with this, he's been out a huge chunk of the season, and it's Nick Chubb for Cleveland. So if you've had Nick Chubb this year, you know that he is absolutely tearing it up. He is having a great season. He's had 5 games of where he's had 100 yards or more. That is also including the Dallas game where he got injured in the first half. That's also including, I believe, the 6 weeks that he was out, 6 or 7 weeks he was out. So if you do the math, basically every week that he's been healthy, he's had 100 yards. So great season for him for when he say healthy. If he was healthy, he would be challenging this man for the rushing title, who is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's had 7 games. That's right, 7 games where he's had 100 yards or more. So that dude is just he is a tank. He is a freaking stud. So if you had Derrick Henry, you drafted him, you're doing really well right now with him. And also a side note, Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb have had 3 weeks in a row where they've had 100 yards or more rushing. So they're on a hot streak. So if you're playing NBA Jam, they're on fire. So if you play that back in the day, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So now we're going to go to the wide receivers who have had 100 yards receiving or more every game or in the season. So number 5 is Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has had 3 games where he has caught the ball for 100 or more yards. No surprise. Last week he had 208 yards in the first quarter last week. So he's a stud right now. He's number 1 in the NFL for receiving, right behind his teammate Travis Kelce. So yeah, those 2 guys are just unbelievable. So the next receiver on the list is Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams this year has caught the ball. He's had a game of 100 passing yards or more for 4 weeks this year. So he's played, I believe, 12 games. So 4 times divided by 12. Again, he's at the 25% level. So Devontae has had a ton of balls thrown his way this year, and he's had a lot of receiving yards too as well. The next guy on the list is Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen has had 4 games this year where he has had 100 receiving yards or more. And there's not enough words to describe Keenan Allen else. It's all coming from Justin Herbert. when they made that switch to the quarterback, it was so much better for those guys. Justin Herbert is just a much better quarterback than Tyrod Taylor. Nothing against Tyrod Taylor, but Justin Herbert's the guy you're looking for. West Coast guy, can read defenses, can throw the ball. He's got a cannon of an arm. Coming out of Oregon, he had all the snaps, all the reps for his 4 years up there, and it's paying off. I mean, he's just playing out of his mind right now, which is awesome. The next guy on the list is actually a tight end. So believe it or not, Travis Kelce. So we're going to put him on there. Travis Kelce this year, we just talked about Tyreek Hill having 3 games. Travis Kelce's had four games where he's had 100 yards receiving or more. Travis Kelce's a stud. There's nobody that can compare to him this year for the tight ends with George Kittle being out this year. Mark Andrews having a really, really bad year. So Travis Kelce's had 4 games with Tyreek Hill. Again, they're 1 and 2 in the NFL. They're the first pair of teammates to be 1 and 2 since 1970. So hopefully they can finish out that way because that'd be really, really cool. So the next guy on the list is a guy who just got suspended for PED, 6 games. Will Fuller. He's had 5 games this year where he's had 100 yards receiving or more. It sucks, but I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he just read the bottle wrong or couldn't figure it out, or I don't know how you do that. So it's pretty hard to get suspended for PEDs, or unless you're Josh Gordon. So that's his middle name. So speaking of Josh Gordon, now his teammate DK Metcalf, it has the most 100-yard receiving games this year with Will Fuller at 5. So if you got DK Metcalf, Will Fuller now, who's obviously not going to be there. Now that Will Fuller isn't there, the guy who's going to step up is Braden Cook. So if you got him, his value skyrocketed. So if you got Braden Cook for the rest of the year, you're probably going to be sitting pretty good. I know they play Indianapolis twice. Indianapolis has a pretty good defense, no matter how you slice it. But Deshaun Watson's going to scramble. He's going to find the ball. He's going to make plays happen. So that'll be a nice gift. So hopefully Braden Cooks will maybe take over the spot and grab a couple 100-yard games in there for you for the playoffs. So keep your eye on that guy. All right, cool. So now we're going to go to the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks who have thrown for 300 yards or more this year in these games. So 300 yards or more in the NFL season so far this year. One of the guys is Jared Goff. Jared Goff has had 5 games where he has thrown for 300 yards or more passing, which is pretty cool. I did not expect that name on this list, so it just shows you that he's getting trusted more with Sean McVay. Sean McVay is wanting him to let it rip. So Jared Goff is a very nice guy to have on your bench or your roster, depending on who they're playing week to week. Another guy who's had plenty of 300-yard games passing this year is Aaron Rodgers. I don't think this is going to surprise anybody. Aaron Rodgers is a top quarterback. He was pissed off when they drafted his future replacement, I guess you can call him, or whatever. He's still not going to be coming in the league for quite a while, so we're not going to talk about him. So the next guy who's had multiple 300-yard games passing this year is Justin Herbert. He's had 6 this year, and that's really impressive because the first 2 weeks he basically was on the bench. So you take that into account for the weeks that he started. So he's played about 10 weeks, and he's had 300 yards passing per game in 6 of those 10 weeks. So you're looking at a 60% clip. If you do, depending on how you look at it, with your standard 25 yards per point, if he's getting 300, that's at least 12 points a game. He's getting you just in the air, not including any touchdowns or any runs at all. So 12 points a game off right away. So it's a great way to start. The next guy on the list is going to be Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's come on very, very strong lately. This goes in the segment that Will Fuller had 100-yard receiving. Now, Braden Cooks is going to be the recipient of that. That's why, because Deshaun Watson's had 6 games where he's thrown for 300 yards or more. So it's just a nice thing to have. So with that, Braden Cooks is going to be having an uptick. So expect him, like I said, to get a couple 100-yard games in there somewhere for the playoffs. So you got Braden Cooks. He might be a league winner. Just saying, he might. You don't know, but thing going on. And the last guy on the list, this is a top quarterback this year. He's had 7 300-yard passing games this year. No surprise, Patrick Mahomes. Yes, Patrick Mahomes. So not Patty or Pat. So, but yeah, he's had 7 games this year where he's thrown 300 yards or more. No surprise. Main recipients: Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Not a surprise. 1 and 2 in the league. Easy math. So all those guys are freaking awesome. So now to the main course. We got your little appetizer. Got you fed up a little bit. So here's the main thing right now. We're going to talk about the top 10 scoring offenses in the league, touchdown only. And we're also going to talk about the bottom 6 scoring offenses, touchdown only. Why is this important to have? if the guy if they're on an offense to score more touchdowns, more than likely your guys are going to be a recipient of one of those touchdowns. So it's a good thing to have, or maybe two, depending on the game plan, the flow, if they're playing from behind, playing ahead, all that stuff. So just a nice thing to have, a nice thing to know. So number 27 in the league for touchdowns only scoring on is the New England Patriots. This year, the New England Patriots have scored 25 touchdowns overall. 17 have been through the ground, and 6 have been through the pass. So if you have a New England Patriot passer, a guy who's going to catch the ball, Jacoby Myers, for example, man, it's going to be tough getting a touchdown. They've only had 6 in 11 and 12 games. So do the math, or 11 games, sorry, whatever it is. So it's half a touchdown a game. It's not a whole lot. So if you're looking for a touchdown for the wide receivers, tight ends, it's probably not going to happen. They get most of the touchdowns on the ground. So what that means, Cam Newton, James White possibly from what last week would happen. He's mostly going to be the guy who's going to catch it in the air. So, and also Damian Harris. So those are the guys that you want. Damian Harris, Cam Newton, those guys are going to be scoring the touchdowns. So if you got those guys, those are the guys who are going to be toting the ball for the Patriots. Those are the guys who are going to be scoring. So stay away from the wide receivers if you're looking for a touchdown to boost you ahead for the Patriots. The next team, number 28 on the list for the worst scoring offense for touchdown-wise only in the NFL is the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think this comes as much of a surprise. Their offense has been very terrible this year for the most part. Joe Burrow and T. Higgins has been the bright spot. Joe Mixon has been hurt more than half the year. It's just been brutal. With that being said, the Cincinnati Bengals have scored 24 touchdowns this entire year, 9 running and 14 passing. So with that being said, with their running backs, they're not getting a whole lot. Their receivers are getting some. So with that, if you're looking for a touchdown from the Bengals, your best bet's going to be T. Higgins, of course. But, I mean, if you have any of the Bengals guys, don't count on them getting touchdowns. They play them with caution the rest of the year. So especially with having a second or third string quarterback, it's going to be a little rough for sure. And then having Joe Mixon now, that's going to be tough too as well. So, okay, so number 29, the team that does not score very many touchdowns at all is offense. Now, this one has a really amazing, shocking, very surprising stat in there. I'm going to get to that here in 2 seconds. First thing is, but it's Bears. The Bears. So they score 23 touchdowns this year so far. Not a lot. Not very impressive at all. They have 2 quarterbacks, Trubisky and Foles, so they don't really have one. I kind of had a rant about the other day. He sucks. So, I mean, there's no other way to put it. I don't care what you said. If the dude's going to be a second pick overall, I mean, he's kind of getting a relief territory, in my opinion. Not that bad, but yeah, he's not going to cut it. So for sure, he's just not going to be in the NFL next year. That's what I think. So the Bears have 23 touchdowns overall. Now here's the crazy stat. Rushing, they have 2. That's it. 2 touchdowns rushing, which is just that's terrible to me. I think that's also because they lost Terry Cohen so early in the year, but David Montgomery, he was hurt too at the beginning of the year. So just their whole running game's been just pedestrian at best. David Montgomery had a really nice game last week. That was his best game by far, not even close for the whole year. So whatever happens with that one, but he's only had 2 touchdowns all year for the rushing game. So the Bears have had 19 passing touchdowns this year for the 2 rushing touchdowns. So just if they're going to get a touchdown, it's going to be through the air. It's going to be in the hands of Trubisky, I guess, going to either Allen Robinson. But they like Jimmy Graham in that red zone too as well. So I mean that's it, man. Those are your 2 guys, Jimmy Graham, Allen Robinson. Those guys are your touchdowns. If you don't got those guys, man, touchdowns for any of the Bears whatsoever. So it's number 30. The team that has the 3rd least amount of touchdowns on the team is the Denver Broncos. This one is not much of a surprise, having Drew Luck out for basically about a third of the year, not having your top passer catcher, not having your top receiver, and Sutton hurts. Noah Fant, however you want to say his name, always being hurt. And just there's not much of the offense. Philip Lindsay's been hurt all year. Melvin Gordon's been a huge disappointment so far. Split with him and Lindsay, it's a weird running backfield for them. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, those guys are having a little trouble there. They have 21 touchdowns as a total unit, 9 rushing and 12 passing. So if you have any way from the Denver Broncos this upcoming playoff season, you're probably more likely going to sit them. I don't even know what their schedule is, if it's good or bad or anything like that. I haven't looked because their team sucks. So, I mean, it's not even worth playing any of those guys, really. I wouldn't even touch any of those guys whatsoever unless they play the Texans or something like that. And I don't think the Houston Texans are on their schedule. They're freaking terrible. That is 31st in the league in scoring touchdowns for offense only is the New York Giants. They are scoring 20 touchdowns so far this year. That's less than 2 a game. Do the math on that. They've played more than 10 weeks. 20 touchdowns. It is absolutely terrible. And they scored 20 touchdowns so far this year. 10 has been through the ground game. 8's been through the pass game. With that being said, you got Shepard, Ingram. Who am I missing? Shepard, Ingram, Slayton, and Golden Tate. You got those 4 guys. They've had 8 touchdown receptions to all year for passing. So don't count on those guys to score. Don't count on those guys to get you touchdowns. Stay away from those guys in the playoffs. You're looking for guys who are going to be productive, who are going to get you touchdowns, who are going to score, who are going to get just extra 6 points in case you need them because you're behind. Because when it's playoffs, it's do or die. I mean, that's just how it is. So like we say here, we chase the yards. We don't chase the touchdowns. But when it comes to playoff time, you want to have a little bit more urgency with who to play and who not to play based on touchdowns too as well. So just kind of give you a little bit more of that information. The last team, who is the worst team in the NFL scoring touchdowns on offense, it is the New York Jets. I don't think this comes as any surprise for anybody. Adam Gase leads every team he goes into the ground. He's a terrible head coach. He has no idea what he's doing. He doesn't know the word talent or evaluator. He doesn't know the word game plan or study. He doesn't know any of those words. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it's because his eyes go one way and the other goes the other way. I don't know what he's doing with his eyes. I think that's why he can't figure anything out. So, terrible coach, terrible leader, terrible coordinator. I seriously can't say one good thing about that guy. Other than that guy is just trash. So, they have 15 touchdowns as a team total, 5 rushing and 9 passing. So just for you math majors out there, that equals 14, not 15. They have 1 on either special teams or defense. For purposes, I didn't include that, obviously. So that's on the whole list. So yeah, so 14 touchdowns overall, 5 through the rush, 9 through the air. So if you have a New York Jets player in the playoffs, man, don't play them. I mean, unless you actually have to. They got a really soft schedule. If it makes sense, if you have Rashard Perryman, Denzel Mims, those might be the only 2 guys that you would want to take because they like to take shots to both those guys so they could possibly get you a catch for 50 yards. And they get you 6 points right there. And they do a couple of those a game. That's 12 points. So, I mean, right then and there, you get your 12 points. So, yeah, other than that, man, just stay away from the Jets. They're terrible. Stay away from Gore or whoever else they're trying to run or Darnold or whoever else because they're a terrible team. They're just trash. It's sad. So, okay. So now on to the good offenses. Now the offenses that you want to have, you want to put players in, you want to go for that. You want to go for that killer strike. You want to go for those touchdowns. You want to go for all that good stuff. Here we go. Top 10. Let's roll. Number 10, the Buffalo Bills. They have coming to number 10. So they have 34 touchdowns this year they are scoring overall for the offense. With that being said, they have 10 on the run and 24 on the pass. And most of this on the run is coming through the legs of Josh Allen. Excuse me. I apologize on that. So Josh Allen is the main dude who's getting all the rushing touchdowns, and they also have 24 in the pass. So you got Stephon Diggs. If you got Josh Brown, if he comes back, but I don't know if he's going to come back to the playoffs. I don't think he is. So, and then also, the receiver, the little man, what's his name? The slot guy. Oh, crap, I'm drawing a blank on his name. I can see him. Cole Beasley. I saw it. Cole Beasley, too, is going to be a nice guy to have in the playoffs. He's going to be somebody who's going to get lots of targets, especially as the weather gets colder, too, as well. They have a guy who's got a huge arm as a quarterback. Throwing is not going to be an issue whatsoever for him. So just help you out on that one. Number 9, for our touchdown total is the Minnesota Vikings, coming in at 37 right now for the year. For the total. So now this one obviously is going to be pretty well balanced because they have a guy by the name of Dalvin Cook who's pretty good at what he does. So with that being said, they got 14 rushing touchdowns this year on the ground, 23 in there. So if you have the Vikings, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. So you got those 3 guys in the playoffs. I know the Vikings have a little tougher schedule in the playoffs when it comes to rushing, so you might want to have a Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen in there that might get you that really nice games. They might have to play from behind and all that stuff. So just some words of advice there for you on that. Okay, now next coming in, they're tied I just had my day. Arizona Cardinals. So they are an offensive machine. They are really, really good. They're this year's like new like flavor of the year this year. With Kyler doing Kyler things. You can tell he's hurt his shoulder, but he'll be fine. He'll recover. He's all right. They also have 37 total touchdowns as a team this year, 18 for the rush and 19 for the pass. And most of those rushing touchdowns are coming through Kyler Murray. Kenyon Drake just had 2. They had 2 last week, so it was great for him for the Kenyon Drake owners. So, if you had him, you were very, very, very happy last week. So, 19 through the air, 18 on the ground. So, Kyler Murray, Kenyon Drake, and then also DeAndre Hopkins too as well. You got those guys. Those guys are kind of like must starts. Chase Edmonds you might want to put on that list too with the 18 rushing touchdowns. If he gets one in there too, he could be the difference between a win and a loss too. So depending on how the game flows and all that stuff. Okay. Number 7 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. We just saw them play Wednesday night against the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers this year have 38 touchdowns overall as a team for the offense this year. They have 38. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. 38 for the Steelers. In total, they have 10 rushing, 25 passing. They have 3 on defense or special teams. I don't really know about that. I'm not really paying attention on that. So 10 rushing. So James Conner owners right there. That's not bad. That's about 1 a game, give or take. It's a little bit less than that. But yeah, James Conner, as long as he's healthy off the COVID list this week, he'll be somebody you want to play, you want to start. He will get the ball. He will get the ball in the goal line. Big Ben does not run whatsoever, so that's great news for you. And then for the past 25, if you've seen them play, they spread the ball through everybody. Eric Ebron, Deontay Johnson, DJ, Juju Smith-Schuster, and also Chase Claypool. So 25 among those guys. So you spread them around. It's not bad. That's about 6. It's about 6 touchdowns per guy. So you look at that. They're going to get their catches. They're going to get their yards. They're going to get their touchdowns. So any kind of Steelers tight end, wide receiver is a good play. Do it. Big Ben, he spreads the ball around. He's playing the best football he's ever played. So if you've got those guys looking for some guys get you touchdowns, possibly get you a nice win throughout the playoffs and this week too as well. Steelers, man, great play. The next on the list is this coming at number 6 is the New Orleans Saints. The reason why they're on the list, they're at number 38. So they are 1 above the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have 19 rushing and also 18 passing. Now this one's a little different because they have Taysom Hill in there now, so he's gotten, I believe, 4 rushing touchdowns the last few weeks. I think they've had like 1 or 0. I think it's 0 actually passing touchdowns the last 2 weeks because not having Drew Brees in there is a huge disadvantage for them. We can kind of see that Taysom Hill has a lot of deficiencies passing the ball. So with that being said, they play Atlanta this week again. Or excuse me, they play Atlanta. They play Atlanta this week again. They just played them 2 weeks ago when Taysom Hill made his first start. So it's gonna be a very interesting week. So with that being said, if you have Drew Brees comes back, you're gonna have Alvin Kamara, you're gonna have Michael Thomas, you're gonna play your guys. Another guy who you might want to. Those are the only 2 guys I'd really play. If you're in a desperate mode and you need somebody to play, maybe you should put up a touchdown for you. Maybe Emmanuel Sanders, but gosh, man, I have a hard time trusting anybody on the Saints. I know they're up there for offensive touchdowns with everything going on, so it's just really hard with everything going on. Their offense is just a roller coaster. You just don't know who's going to score this week, who's going to get passes this week. And even when Drew Brees is in, he spreads it around. You just don't know who's going to get it. So, Taysom Hill's going to get a touchdown when Drew Brees is back, and there's a receiver. We all know that. So next on the list, number 5, is the Tennessee Titans. They're at 40 touchdowns this year so far. So they have 15 rushing and 23 in the pass. So they have 2 on defense somewhere in there. So you got 38 actually overall. So Derrick Henry, that's pretty obvious. He's going to have a ton of touchdowns. He's got 15. So, he's got more than 1. He's averaging more than 1 a game. He just got 3 last week. He just got 3 and actually just killed my team. So thank you, Mr. Henry. I appreciate it. Next year, I will be drafting you if I have a chance because you are unbelievable. Holy crap, dude. So, 15 in total, and they have 23 through the air. So what this leads to is Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, A.J. Brown. You got those guys, man. You need a touchdown. You need a guy to have a big game. All three of those guys are possibilities. So Johnny Smith has played terrible as of late. He's in a little bit of a slump. I don't know if he's hurt or if he's just, I don't know if the offense just doesn't get to him or anything like that. But at the beginning of the year, he played much better. So, but keep your eye on him. If you have a place to stash him as a just kind of away, and you might need help for the tight end because the tight ends are so weak this year, he'd be a great guy to put in there, just stash, kind of see how he does. You don't have to play him at all. Just nice to have another tight end in reserve just in case something hurt, something, with the COVID stuff going on now, somebody gets hurt, somebody gets on the list. It's just nice to have somebody stashed like that where, he could get you 2 touchdowns in the game and get you 12 points and, whatever else on top of that. So it is a possibility. So just kind of throw it out there. The next team we have, number 4, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have 40 total touchdowns as a team. This week is their bye week, so now they're going to catch up to everybody else. Them and the Panthers have the bye week this week. So with that being said, they have 11 on the ground and 28 passing on that. So now this being said, this is great news. You got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I'm not going to say AB because he hasn't had a touchdown yet all year. He's not been that great. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk. Those are your 3 dudes right there. You got them playing 28. They have a weak schedule for the playoffs for passing. So if you got the Buccaneers, you got Tom Brady, you got those boys, start them. They're going to get you touchdowns. They're going to get you points. So they might be a difference, again, between getting a dub and getting an L, getting those points, getting that win, and getting your money. So watch for them. 14 through 17, they got a very weak schedule. So play them. Play them with confidence, boys. And on the flip side, Ronald Jones and then also Leonard Fournette, the running backs. If you had to choose one, obviously, from the stat earlier, that we were saying Ronald Jones, the second, has had 4 games where he's had 4 games of 100 yards or more. So obviously that makes a lot of sense doing it that way. So if you got him, Ronald Jones in, Leonard Fournette out, you're welcome. So number 3 is the Seattle Super Seahawks, as I call them, because they are unbelievable this year. So the big news there, Josh Gordon just got reinstated, and so that's what I think about that. So they have 42 total touchdowns this whole year, 11 rushing, and also 31 in the pass. So what that means is if you have Tyler Lockett, you got DK Metcalf, play him. They're going to get touchdowns. They're going to score a ton of points. Russell's looking for him. There's nobody else in that offense who's going to throw to. He's going to do his thing too as well. And also Chris Carson. You got Chris Carson playing. He gets some touchdown passes too as well through the air, but he's going to get his touchdown passes, or he's going to running. Excuse me. He's going to get his touchdowns through the ground too as well. So any Seahawks guys, you got him playing with confidence, man. That offense is always rolling. That offense is always scoring touchdowns. Play them. Don't even second guess yourself. Just do it. Number two total scoring offense for touchdowns in the NFL is the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, again, this is going to come in a surprise. You got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill. No, not a surprise. So they have 43 touchdowns in total, 10 rushing, 33 passing. So what does that tell you? Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Need I say more? So those guys are going to get them all. So if you got those guys, play them. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, play them all. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you can play him. I would just play him with caution. I think he's kind of coming down to, I don't want to say bust status for the NFL, but bust status for fantasy football. He has not done a whole lot at all lately. So, but again, like I said earlier in the earlier video, the Chiefs, man, they pass, and they pass. That's all they do. So they sprinkle and run. So, but anyways, number one offense in all of football for touchdown wise only is the Green Bay Packers. They got 44 touchdowns this year for their offense. So the Packers have had 9 rushing and 33 passing. So with that being said, as you can see, Green Bay Packers are scoring quite a lot. Aaron Jones would be somebody who you want to play. He gets a lot of the rush touchdowns. He gets most of them on the team. He also gets passing touchdowns too as well in there. Obviously, the one guy you're going to play is Devontae Adams. That's like a no-brainer slam dunk. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, no-brainer slam dunk. The guy you're going to want to hold on to, keep your eye on, is Allen Lazard. With him coming back now, Rodgers, he's got Aaron Rodgers' full trust. So last game he came in, he played a little bit. He got a touchdown last game. So he loves Lazard. So watch out for that guy. If you need to grab somebody off the waiver wire, if you need to grab somebody and put in your lineup. He's not a bad dude to have as a flex wide receiver 3. Not a bad option at all, especially on a team who's scoring that many touchdowns. I mean, if you know that, he doesn't have to get you 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 yards. He can get you 5 for 40 and a touchdown. You're good. That's 9 plus a 6. That's 15 points right there. You're right in the thick of everything. So, anyways, so that's all. So those are the top 10 offenses, bottom 6 scoring offenses. The guys who have the most 300 yards passing this year, the guys who have had the most 100-yard games on the ground, the guys who have the most 100-yard games through the air, receiving and running. So, anyways, I hope you all learned something from this. I hope this helps you out. I hope all these facts, stats, numbers kind of throw you in the right direction for the playoffs. I know it's a very important time. I know people, there's lots of stuff on the line, whether it be dressing up, and getting made fun by your league mates, or in that playoff spot where you're on the border, on the cusp, or whatever like that. So, anyways, y'all have a wonderful Friday night. I hope you're all getting the Christmas spirit and watching movies and drinking eggnog and everything else in between. So, all right, I am Tyler, the uncool fool Greer, and I am out.